Diva down! I have no idea what this is. This is the harrowing tale of Groverhaus, home renovation gone wrong on the something awful forums. I have no idea what this could be about. Oh. Hi, kitty. Almost Miss Groverhaus. You've seen this house before? I have no idea what this house is. I'm actually quite intrigued. I need to know. What is Groverhaus? What is the harrowing tale? Why was this recommended to me? Why does it sound so familiar? I guess you're about to find out.
Welcome back to another strange. This is the story of Groverhaus. That is a name you may have heard invoked on the internet before when people are talking about any sort of DIY project gone wrong, especially home renovation. But the origins of the Groverhaus legend are not super well known anymore. Well, today I have unearthed it for you, by which I mean I paid $20 for the Something Awful Forum archive account.
Oh,
and now
thank you.
I have it for you.
Thank you.
This is the story of the great and terrible hubris of one Something Awful Forum user by the name of Grover. Probably not his legal name. The year 2000.
That kind of got me as well. I thought it was from your game.
2006. Grover is an electrical engineer working as a civilian contractor for the Navy. He has a wife and 2 young children with whom he lives in an area of Virginia known as, and I shit you not, the Great Dismal Swamp.
What?
By the time that Grover started the now infamous thread regarding his house,
the swamp?
He had a little bit of a reputation on the forum.
I will turn sound alerts off right now.
Hello friends and welcome back to another strange. This is the story of Groverhaus. That is a name you may have heard invoked on the internet before when people are talking about any sort of DIY project gone wrong, especially home renovation. But the origins of the Groverhaus legend are not super well known anymore. Well, today I have unearthed it for you, by which I mean I paid $20 for the Something Awful Forum archive account.
Thank you.
And now I have it for you.
Thank you.
This is the story of the great and terrible hubris of...
You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of like an alternative lesbian Sophia Nygaard. That's what she reminds me of.
one Something Awful Forum user by the name of Grover. Probably not his legal name. The year 2006. Grover is an electrical engineer working as a civilian contractor for the Navy. He has a wife and 2 young children with whom he lives in an area of Virginia known as, and I shit you not, the Great Dismal Swamp. But
shout out to the Great Dismal Swamp in fucking Virginia.
by the time that Grover started the now infamous thread regarding his house, he already had a little bit of a reputation on the forums. He'd gotten into a little controversy with the US military fandom, gross, for often acting like he deserved the same status and respect as a member of the military.
The town nearby was Norfolk. She gives me alternative art teacher vibes. She does. She looks like she'd teach me watercolor.
Despite being a civilian contractor, among other things. There is a surviving petition to remove Grover as moderator of the military sub-forum, which goes into it all. It's not discourse that I particularly give a shit about. However, it is a window into Grover's moderation style. Grover had zero tolerance for haters, skeptics, naysayers. Forum members report that he openly targeted people he personally didn't like. He could—
Is this home renovation Chris Chan?
Couldn't take any sort of criticism or even harsh jokes directed at him. He ruled unfairly, and he did so with an iron fist. Grover is a man, okay, who knows what he's about. Grover is a man whose ideas are always good and correct. And oh boy, is Grover about to have an idea. The losers—
Never mind, he's just me as a man.
The naysayers will be triumphed over. And soon the swamp itself will be triumphed over.
Fuck the swamp!
Grover is about to do something bold. Grover is about to spend 2 years of his life and all of his money renovating his house. Or extending his house, more accurately. The tale of Grover and his house, Groverhaus, is about to become one of the most beloved Something Awful Forum threads of all time.
I see.
Partially due to the way he responds to criticism of it. But before we get into it, a word from this video's sponsor.
Okay.
You have a musty old mattress that smells weird.
Oh my god, Helix?
Back support? Cause
wow.
I don't, thanks to this video sponsor, Helix.
Yay!
If your spring cleaning spree has got you jonesing to freshen up your sleeping space,
kitty!
Oh boy, does
There's
Helix have a mattress for you, and I mean you, dear viewer. What are you doing, mister?
Kitty!
Helix has the mattress for him. Fine, you take over. Can you do the ad read? Helix makes premium mattresses customized to fit your unique needs and shipped conveniently straight to your door. Everyone's different, everyone sleeps differently, which is why Helix has their sleep quiz to match you with your perfect mattress based on your body type and sleep preferences. If you sleep with a partner, you can take the sleep quiz together and find something that's the perfect compromise for the two of you. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, and they just released a line of mattress toppers as well to help customize your experience even more. There's the dual comfort mattress topper, which is a great option for couples with different preferences. The Ergo Align mattress topper, which is a great option for those with lower back pain or looking for more support under their midsection.
That's so cute that they have a mattress topper with like a soft side and a firm side. That's so cute.
They've got the premium mattress topper or the premium memory foam mattress topper, which are both great options for sleepers who are looking for added pressure relief at their hips and shoulders. You can customize the firmness of every mattress topper, which I think is really cool. Based on my quiz results, Helix matched me with this baby right here, the Twilight Luxe. It is their firmest mattress. I do tend to prefer a firmer mattress due to the scoliosis demons that live in my spine. It's very easy for me to mess up my day if I sleep on a bad surface. I've had this mattress for about 3 years now, and I've been sleeping great this whole time. And if it makes you nervous to buy a mattress you've never tried out in person, don't worry about it, because Helix has a 100-night sleep trial. You can sleep on this baby for 100 nights before you decide if you really love it. There's also a 10-year warranty, financing options.
I love the cat just spinning around.
Flexible payment plans. And of course, Helix delivers your mattress straight to your door. Shipping is free within the US. It comes rolled up in a box and then expands once you free it from the box. It's super easy to set up yourself, I promise. Just make sure you read the instructions before you try to do it. I am haunted by this 3-year-old B-roll of my partner and I fucking up the setup. I really like my Helix mattress, so if you're in the market for a new bed, go check them out. The month of April marks their spring savings event. It's 20% off site-wide right now.
I think if I get a new mattress, I might go for Helix. Probably during a spring savings event.
So, that link will be...
I don't need a mattress right now, but when I do...
in the description down below for your clicking.
She's got me.
Now, I return you to your regularly scheduled content.
Thank
December 30th, 2006. Grover posts the first installment of what he refers to as his house blog to the Something Awful forums. As you can see, this is Grover's house. He's posting about it on the forum to record his renovation for posterity, as well as to connect with other DIYers. Grover explains, "My wife and I are building an $85,000...
Oh, Dodeki, let me know how the pillows are, because I was thinking about the pillows.
2,000 square foot addition onto our house. We're doing it completely by ourselves. Framing, sheathing, roofing, doors, windows, flooring, plumbing, electrical, house wrap, kitchen, stairs, tile, trim, everything but the concrete and siding." Grover's first couple of posts are spent recapping what he's already done. He actually started the renovation in December of 2005, so it's already been going on for a whole year by the time he's posting about it. He explains that he and his wife bought their house for $88,000 can you imagine? In 2001. It has since risen in value to around $140,000. It's 16,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, built in the 1950s, never been renovated. The kitchen, in Grover's words, sucked. And overall, the house is just too small. Ever since buying it, they fantasized about building an addition. Their dream addition would include a new kitchen, a living room, bathroom, workshop area, 3 more bedrooms, and a 2-car garage. This would, of course, be a very ambitious DIY project for...
That is pretty fucking ambitious. That is really fucking ambitious.
Someone who, by his own admission, has never attempted construction before. Something you gotta know about Grover is Grover's a very thrifty guy, okay? If he can save money on labor costs, why wouldn't he? And honestly, quite frankly, he cannot afford to pay someone else to extend his house. But by God, he wants that house extended. Grover says that in his neighborhood, other 6-bedroom, 3,000 plus square foot homes were running $350 to $400K. $250K more than our own house is worth. The addition is costing us just $80,000. Quite simply, there is no way we could have afforded a house like this if we were to try to buy one. So Grover wants bigger house, but Grover cannot afford bigger house, whether that would be just to buy one or to pay someone to extend the current one. Grover cannot afford bigger house. But Grover's no fucking quitter, okay?
Grover's gonna fucking commit to this.
Grover is gonna do something about this. So if you want to build a house, you can't just buy a bunch of lumber and start hot gluing stuff together and hope it works out. There are regulations, there are codes. And people who do this for a living obviously are very familiar with those codes and they know how to do things properly. Grover is not familiar, but the house is going to need to pass frequent inspections over the course of the construction for him to be allowed to continue. So he picks up a copy of the International Residential Code, he does some Googling, he reads some forums,
W Google, my favorite school.
He's pretty confident he can figure it out. The construction of the house is going to be especially complicated due to the fact that Grover and his family live in a swamp. The Great Dismal Swamp, I will
Sorry, the fact that it's called the Great Dismal Swamp is really taking me the fuck out.
remind you. Grover writes, the land back here is swampland, flooded half the year, and should never have been built on.
Oh.
Right, okay, let's build
build more
house on the land that never should have been built on in the first place. In fact, when he first bought the house, the idea of building an addition, you know, they fantasized about it, but it truly was an unattainable fantasy. And that is because the nature of their septic system made it impossible to do that.
Honestly, I'm still... Who said that Miyazaki lives here? Who said that Miyazaki, the Dark Souls director, lives here? He definitely does.
However, in 2005, a big developer bought a bunch of land in Grover's neighborhood, was planning to build new, bigger homes on that land and connect them to the city sewer, which meant that Grover and the rest of the neighborhood residents were also going to get the opportunity to connect to the city sewer. We were very much looking forward to being able to reliably flush toilets a full 12 months out of the year,
Yay!
and even when it's raining. Oh my god, Grover, I'm so sorry you had to live like this. Having received excellent news from the sewer.
Imagine not being able to flush your toilet for the whole year. I've gotta say, that's pretty crazy. You guys ever have to use an outhouse before?
Gods. Grover and his wife began officially planning the addition. He first drew out some floor plans in CAD, but he says, my wife was having a hard time picturing it, so I used my mad Photoshop skills to whip up some half-assed artist renditions of the planned addition.
Good!
It looks nice, Grover. It looks nice, Grover.
It looks
really
great,
nice.
Grover.
Before construction can even begin, Grover spends $400 just on getting permits for everything. He says, because I have a septic field, I had to get a permit from the health department, which was surprisingly difficult. First, I had to prove I stayed 10 inches from the field. Second, the health department prohibited me from having closets. Health department, 2,000 square foot addition.
You can't have closets? What?
Oh, sorry, you can't do that. You have closets. Me, what? Health department, yeah, sorry, that's illegal. Can't you wait until the sewer comes? Me, no, I want to start now. What the fuck? What if I take out the closets? Health department, oh, that's okay then, you're approved. Me, okay, thanks. Health department, just don't put any closets in until you have the sewer. So this is nonsensical on the surface. And Grover is making fun of the fact that it is nonsensical. Basically, the reason for this is that if the house is 6 bedrooms, the size of the septic field that he has to theoretically be able to support 2 occupants per bedroom, which it absolutely cannot. But if the new rooms he adds don't have closets, then they're technically not considered bedrooms. So
I see. Butler's pantry.
Having removed the closets from their floor plans to get a health department permit, now it's time to move on to shopping for materials. And in doing this, Grover and his wife immediately realize that they are gonna go way over the initial budget estimate. Grover has edited his original post to include the final cost of the house renovation, which was $85,000. But you can see the title of the post is still like $50,000, and he admits here that his original estimate was only $20,000 for the whole house edition, which was very optimistic because he soon realizes that realistically, the kitchen alone is going to be $18,000.
You thought this was gonna be like a fucking $20,000 project?
Baby boy, what are you doing with this butt? Baby, what are you doing with all this butt? What do you think you are doing with all of this butt? My initial $20K estimate turned out to be comically low, and it was clear the addition would cost $60 to $80K, which was more than we can afford. So March 2005 was the start and the end of our dreams. Or so it seemed.
Did you win the lottery?
$80K for the addition, nor did we have $80K in equity on the house, nor could we find anyone who would loan us $80K for a reasonable mortgage rate. What we ended up doing was taking out a $27K home equity loan, nearly all of the equity the housing boom had given us for free, which would be enough to frame, roof, and seal the addition. Then we'd get the house reappraised in hopes that our $27K had given us another $53K in equity so we could finish. December 17th, 2005, we broke ground. Oh, Grover, your financial choices stress me out. We're digging, trying to work it.
What? Taking a loan for a DIY project, crazy. His wife got involved? No, I think he just estimated wrong entirely. There's no way you can add a whole fucking 2,000 feet to your house for only $20,000.
Before it rains. Problem is, the water table back here is 6 inches below the surface, and even with sump pumps running, the water is just percolating up through the soft clay and turning the whole thing into a messy, muddy mess. My concrete guy told me it would be okay if we put down some pea gravel. So I go and buy a $400 truckload of pea gravel, and we put it down on the mud, stake off all the heights for concrete and lay down rebar, and the city comes out and fails it, tells me the ground is far too weak and the pea gravel is illegal and has to be removed. Also because of the problems, I would have to hire an engineer. So I hire an engineer and he comes out and tells me we have to dig 18 inches deeper, widen the trenches to 36 inches, and pour in number 57 stone and build up wood molds all the way around the concrete. I'm about in tears at this point. Grover finishes the
I would be in fucking tears too. I would give up here. I would just have a really nice patio.
foundation 2 weeks of hell later and $8,000 over budget. He says that he worked through Christmas, through rainstorms, so that his house may finally rise from the hostile muck of the swamp. He laid all of the plumbing for the extension himself and passed the plumbing inspection on the first try. So things were looking up after that. Then they begin framing the house. We discovered that the 100-inch fiberglass tape measure that I had used to square off the foundation stretched about 3/4 of an inch and had fucked up our foundation pins, making the one wall of our house 1.5 inches shorter than the other.
Yikes. As soon as my wife started putting, yeah, but I bet your kitchen looks cuter now. Let's just put our input in it. I bet it's cuter now.
And overall screwing up my perfect plans. Poo-poo happens though. I bought a Sawzall and we worked around it, implying that he just shaved off 1/2 inch from the longer wall. Jeebus Christ. It is also worth noting here that poo-poo happens was not Grover's original choice of words. Something Awful had a filter where certain swear words would be changed to comical alternatives, not for the point of censorship. Something Awful is known as an infamous den of debauchery. They weren't scared of the word shit. They just thought it was funny to turn it into poo-poo. So, even though he doesn't always pass his inspections, Grover is doing his best to follow building codes. A problem that he encounters is that some of those codes have changed over the past couple of decades. So his original house...
No! The codes changed! Also, someone pointed out 2007. It's getting scary.
Has a foundation that is a certain height above the swamp ground, but nowadays he's required to build much higher than that. So the addition ends up being, it looks like about 1 foot higher than the original house. You can see that really well here in this picture where the new walls are going up about 1 foot higher than the old house.
They're pretty tall.
The worst part about framing was framing the walls of the cathedral ceiling. I came up with the rig in this photo where we...
You know, I'm pretty impressed he's gotten this far. Guys, I'm actually pretty impressed he's gotten this far.
Literally nailed the pieces together, leaning at an angle against the balcony, and then used long push boards to raise it into place. Once upright, we would tack the push board down to keep the wall from falling, nail a temporary brace midway up, and finagle the sole plate over the anchor bolts using crowbars and hammers to knock the supporting blocks until they fell into place.
He's ignoring every OSHA regulation, huh?
Was a real pain in the rear end. Grover, you stress me out. Despite some questionable safety practices, Grover and his wife do survive the framing of the house without being maimed. At this point, we're almost out of money, but I had just enough to buy the windows.
Yay!
They arrived in early May, and we slowly started putting them in. First step was to install house wrap, which we did ourselves over a week. That was way too windy to be doing house wrap. The 2 large windows on the second floor proved very difficult. I came up with a plan to build a 2-tier scaffold. We would hoist the windows up from the ground to the first step, climb up, hoist it to the second, climb up, and lift it into place. Worked great on the picture window, which was the heavier of the 2, but the spring line being 1 inch taller was just so unwieldy and wouldn't go into place. We tried twice to get it in and failed. The second time, the lever action of the window damn near pushed my wife off the scaffold, which would have led directly to the window falling on top of her, and probably me quickly following. Arms and legs weak with strain and stress, we tied it down in defeat and pondered what to do next, when I heard hammering. It was near dark, but the Mexican crew down the road was hard at work.
Well, this story isn't racist, it's diverse.
I drove down and offered $50 for 2 guys to help.
Woohoo, boys.
The foreman came with me, and the 2 of us lifted it into place in about 30 seconds with almost no effort. And it's officially too late to go back on the choice of having 2 mismatched windows right next to each other. Ooh boy. Grover
boy.
then finishes the bathroom plumbing only to realize he's violated 3 separate IRC codes.
Oh!
Crap, says Grover, and he fixes it before the inspection. Thankfully, he and his wife did agree that it was too risky for them to try and do all of the siding on the house themselves without having the proper equipment and the proper kind of ladder. So he calls a contractor to install the siding, and hot damn, it really is starting to look like a
Holy shit! We're fucking getting somewhere.
house. Grover reports, now all the neighbors think we're finished, lol. Meanwhile, people on the internet start to say that it looks like the house is screaming.
A little bit.
Grover fails his first plumbing inspection. The city came
No.
out and failed me. Said I had too many things on a single half-inch pipe. I protested, saying that the chance of us doing more than 2 things simultaneously is low, and the impact of turning on 3 or 4 things even lower. What, the toilet will fill up slower, and that I'd much rather have a half-inch pipe through an insulated space than a 3/4 inch pipe freezing in my attic, but they wouldn't budge. Apparently, I'm required to be able to water my garden and wash my car at the same time I'm running my dishwasher, taking a shower, and flushing the toilet. Despite his passion.
Hey man, you never know. You never know. You might be doing all those things at once.
Protests. Grover does end up having to add another pipe that runs through the attic to accommodate possible larger water use. All that was left at this point was to rough in the HVAC, says Grover. First step was to get more money. This ended up being easier than I expected, as the bank happily bumped up the value of my house a great deal based on my word alone.
On your
and gave me
word
another
alone?
50K home equity loan. So he's got the required loan. But there is another hurdle lurking for Grover. You see, unlike most building materials, HVAC materials are gate-kept. Most retailers will only sell them to licensed professionals, which Grover is not. So he looks into hiring a contractor to install it, but it's far too expensive. That's not an option. So he ends up scraping together all of the materials from like a variety of different places and websites. I don't understand it. Any idiot off the street can walk into any electrical or plumbing supply house, but the HVAC people only want to sell it to licensed HVAC contractors?
That's what I'm
What the
saying.
fuck? After calling a dozen places, I found a sheet metal supplier who would sell me the sheet metal fittings, and a supplier in Florida who had cheap heat pumps, etc., etc. Grover heads on down to Lowe's one day and finds out that there's garage doors on sale for $180 when they're usually around up to $700.
Nice.
Hot drat, says Grover. I don't know why he says that. But he takes the doors home and installs them immediately. And what else? With all of his painstakingly acquired materials, Grover actually passes his first HVAC inspection.
Holy shit, this passed? This looks like shit and it passed?
Yeah, I know, everyone makes fun of these images because they're ugly, but he passed the inspection. Grover's wife installs insulation all over the entire extension. This story is told from Grover's perspective, but Grover's wife is just as much of a hero and protagonist of this story as he is.
I respect the fuck out of her wife. She did all this insulation by herself.
And for 2006, 2007, honestly, on the something awful forums, like, you would expect a lot more. Oh, the old wife demands expensive kitchen counters, am I right, boys? Say what you want about Grover and his hubris and his complete lack of fear of God or concussion, but he drinks his respect wife juice. He makes it clear throughout the whole process that she is doing just as much hard labor as he is. He says multiple times that they make a really good team. He enjoys working with her. Everybody
he loves his wife.
Grover's wife, but most especially Grover. Okay, and that's how it should be. Time to get to the drywall, says Grover.
Okay.
His wife ends up convincing him to contract the drywall installation out, just because it would be extremely time-consuming and boring work. And he agrees that $3,000 in labor fees is worth getting it done in a week and not having to do it themselves. This is one of the photos that he posted with the drywall installation update. But you can really see here this like weird doorway they had to
Not the fucking step for the difference in foundation.
cut in the old house, where you've got this really tall step up, and then the hole goes almost up to the ceiling. We've run out of money again.
Oh.
We will have to wait until I get my tax refund. It is now December of 2006. The renovations have been underway for a whole year, which also means that we've caught up to the present day, and everything that Grover posts now will be real-time updates on the progress of his house. It is finally time to hook up to the city sewer. Grover calls a backhoe driver to dig a trench for their pipes, but shitty swamp that they live in, the trench collapses 30 minutes after the backhoe driver leaves, burying their unconnected pipes. So the backhoe guy has to come back the next day and redig the trench. Grover destroys 2 sawzall blades, a hacksaw, 3 metal cutting blades, and a circular saw, trying to cut into the 50-year-old cast iron septic pipe under his house. He has to go out and buy an angle grinder, which he finally cuts it with, allowing it to, at long last, be connected to the city sewer. And we could flush toilets!
Yes!
Grover rejoices.
Yes!
But the next day it rained, and the big trench collapsed and flooded, and the pipe floated up and broke.
No!
It's 3 days before Christmas, and I ended up having to go out waist deep in sewer water and mud with my arms up to my elbows trying to reconnect the pipes underwater. Managed to do it and get it covered, and in a case of deja vu, had my backhoe driver out on Christmas Eve filling in the front ditch so that the pipes couldn't float up again. And now that he's hooked up to the city sewer, the health department no longer cares how many closets he has. In more good news, the kitchen cabinets and countertop arrive before Christmas.
Bro can have closets again, bro.
So while the family isn't quite able to fulfill their goal of cooking Christmas dinner 2006 in their new kitchen, they are able to do a lot of the prep work in it. At this point, Grover also posts some of the only, like, full wide shots of the entire front and back of the house.
It's looking real nice. It's looking really good. The mismatched windows is kind of frying me because it probably looks amazing on the inside, but from outside it looks like shit. They make a special lift for putting drywall on the ceiling. Yeah, but I'd rather hire somebody. Not a single window's the same size. True, they are all different fucking windows. Wait, they're all different windows. Oh my god. Oh my god, that door in the fucking garage. The beige with the white is super bland. Yeah, but it's homemade. In the end, it is a house he owns. These are all fucking windows on discount.
Man, this thing is ugly. Oh, it's such an ugly house. The plastic siding, obviously repulsive looking, but you know what? If you're on a budget and it functions, fine. But why do the windows have to be mismatched like that? Why is the door like right up against that garage door? Why did the garage doors need to be staggered like that? I guess they thought it would look better to have one of the garage doors protruding just slightly. It kind of just looks confusing, especially since the regular door is right up against the garage door like that. Like, why is it smushed like that? Why didn't you center it? Why not just center the other door a little bit better? This is also around the time that Grover posts this fan favorite Groverhaus image. Just the stockings hanging from this, like, completely shitty looking unfinished staircase. The fact that there is insulation between the stairs. Grover, why is there insulation between all of the stairs except for that one? What is the reasoning for any of this in the mind of Grover?
What if, like, you wanted to have not insulation on that step just to get some outside air in?
Why the insulation between all of the stairs except for one? Why are you celebrating Christmas with your family in this horrid looking unfinished house with exposed insulation instead of in the presumably functional half of the house that you haven't touched? On January 1st, 2007, Grover begins moving the appliances like the...
Ooh! Ooh! It looks so nice. There's a Christmas tree behind me. It looks so nice, actually. Wait.
Dishwasher, microwave, and stove into the new kitchen. Unfortunately, I'd gone by instructions for our old stove when I placed the outlet, and instead of having industry standard, this stove had a freaking main support beam right where I put the receptacle. I stared at it for a while, contemplated moving it down, and then just attacked the son of a bitch with the new angle grinder I'd bought for the sewer pipe. It's a really nice stove, but I cut the bitch anyhow. Doesn't seem to have hurt it. It was only half of an L-beam and didn't seem to be really doing much structurally, so I didn't sweat it. The
I'm sure it's
stove and
fine.
Microwave are in. With that, they begin tiling the kitchen. This picture with, like, the cake pan and the food everywhere. They are living in the middle of this construction zone, and it appears that they are living badly. They are living like squatters in the Grover house. January 15th, 2007, the backhoe guy showed up with no warning first thing yesterday morning to fill in the septic tank and regrade our backyard. Apparently he worked real late last night and fell asleep in the Walmart parking lot. Then came straight to our place. We busted our asses cleaning up the backyard and taking down our fence, moving the grill and lawnmower and everything else, only to find him fast asleep in his truck. He slept until like 1, left for lunch, and returned right about dusk when he caved in the septic tank.
This guy's a real one. This is the realest man in the story.
tank, and then did a half-assed job of regrading the yard before quitting for the night, complaining about the mud. I had some words with him this morning when I was able to see the shitty job in daylight. I hope he makes it back before it rains, or it's going to be a fucking mud farm back there again. So, as stated at the beginning, Grover is an electrical engineer. And around this time...
Oh my god, I forgot he was an electrical engineer. I forgot this guy was an electrical engineer.
He mentions to the forum that around the time they broke ground on the house, so back in 2005, he started studying for his professional engineer license. He says, throughout this whole process, I had this faint hope of a plan B in the back of my head, that no matter what happened or what technicality the inspectors fail us on, I can always just wait until I got my PE license and stamp the bitch myself. He passes his exam, he gets that license, but to his credit, he never resorts to his plan B to sign off on his own subpar work. Bad news on the funding front. I'd projected my tax return would be just enough to fund the rest of the addition. I ended up with about $3,000 less than what I expected. This could be very slow going. He's also a little grumpy about spending a whole $1,000 on his new chandelier, but he does admit it looks nice. I'm officially a sheet metal worker, says Grover. He had wanted to connect his whole HVAC system to the heat pump using ductboard, but then he found out that he can't penetrate garage walls with ductboard. That's illegal. That's against the codes. He has to use sheet metal to penetrate the garage walls. And so Grover must learn to form sheet metal using some tin snipes, a pair of pliers, and a scrap board. These are not metalworking tools.
Huh.
But Grover is proud of his handiwork nonetheless. March 17th, 2007. Grover spends the morning helping one of his neighbors get hooked up to the city sewer. Said neighbor is a contractor, and the two of them discuss the idea of maybe hooking up some of the other houses in the neighborhood to the city sewer for some extra cash. I don't know if I really want to do that, but I'm thinking about it. I sure could use some extra money right now. Gotta raise $4,000 to finish the addition. I have air conditioning.
Yes!
Grover announces to the internet. He did contract out the final part of the installation, but only because it is illegal for him to handle R22. Some commenters on the forum thread pointed out that it's a bit of a choice for Grover to choose an HVAC system that uses R22. I didn't know this before researching this video, but I learned that R22 is a chemical, it's a refrigerant that is used to cool homes, and it is terrible for the environment. It is so bad for the ozone layer. So much so that by 2007, when Grover was doing this renovation, there was already talk of it being banned. Like, people knew it was going to get banned soon, which...
So why? Also, hello, Erixia. Hello, hi, hello, hi.
Some of the commenters pointed out to him. But this doesn't concern Grover. The ban is only going to be on manufacturing new systems that use it. Old ones that have already been installed are going to be fine, so as long as he starts stockpiling the atmosphere-eating chemicals now, it's going to be great. Grover works on the weather sealing around the garage. I wasn't able to do it the normal way, he explains, because apparently he installed the doors slightly wrong, but Grover cannot be stopped, okay? Grover will go onwards, regardless.
Grover marches forward.
He uses concrete siding to frame the garage doors and breaks another circular saw blade trying to cut it. Another fan favorite Groverhaus moment. I ruined a big patch of vinyl siding breaking in the grill last week. Was cooking cheap 70% lean burgers.
Yeah!
99 cents a pound. And the grill was too close to the wall when all the grease caught fire. I learned the hard way that the new siding I bought is apparently much less heat resilient than the older siding. Now I have a big section that's all melted and warped to hell that I have to replace.
Yikes. What the hell is that? Oh, somebody playing their music with hella high bass. Oh my god. Grover's the kind of asshole who built my home. Don't worry, Grover would never touch your house. He only cares about his shitbox, bro.
Unfortunately for all of us, Grover did not photograph his melted plastic siding. He didn't think to take a picture of it for us until after he had removed the damaged siding, and we just see this gap in the siding of the house in front of his barbecue. Grover is still out of money, but he and his wife are kind of chipping away at small details they can afford here and there, like putting knobs on the doors. Finally. Yay! That's when they get the great news that Grover's dad has offered to give them the money to finish the staircase.
Yes!
Why the staircase specifically? I don't know, but he's given the money to finish.
Maybe because his dad came and visited, saw the staircase, and was like, this is a fucking sack of shit. I don't want to, like, stub my toe and shove my foot into insulation. We're finishing the damn staircase. That would be me. The staircase, I think, would piss me off the most.
Finish their stairs. Guess he's feeling generous in his old age, lol. So hopefully we'll be making real progress soon. First things first, though, I need to build a new workbench that we can use to build the stair pieces. Finished workbench. You can see the new radial arm saw table too, and my first project, not to mention a well-deserved beer. Like and subscribe if you'd crack open a cold one with Grover. I passed the electrical, plumbing, and mechanical final inspections today.
Yay!
Woohoo, says Grover. The electrical guy scolded me for not having ceiling fans installed and or the boxes blanked off, but passed me anyhow. The mechanical guy also failed me for the drain line P-trap only having 2 inches of clearance when the instructions required 3, and passed me on paper, said he'd trust me to fix it. I promised I would, and fully intended to comply, but the more I think about it, all that effort for 1 inch larger trap seems pretty silly.
You better put in the fucking effort. The guy's gonna come back, bro.
Begin painting the house. Grover posts a photo of the whole staircase, now visible in all its glory for the first time ever on the intraweber. He appears to have taken some of the insulation out of the stairs. What?
Is it just the picture quality? This is like so bent. I think it might be the picture quality. Because there's also like this dent in the table here. There's something going on here.
There is still insulation in some of them. Grover! Grover, your mind. None of us can comprehend the mind of Grover. Also, why does finishing the stairs come after painting the house? The mind of Grover.
I don't know, but you gotta get this cat away from eating the insulation.
It does sound, though, as if he was a bit intimidated by the process of completing the stairs. He says, the railing represents probably the most difficult and intricate construction of the entire project, and I'm a little apprehensive about it, because the tolerances are so tight. So I've done enough research on the web that I think I know how to do it. But I've had trouble finding real-world examples because the over-the-post railings like we want to do are supposedly the hardest and most expensive to do, so few stair builders do them, and certainly DIYers like me don't attempt, lol.
So he's gonna attempt it, obviously.
Well, these are Grover's reference pictures. This is Grover's Pinterest board for what he wants to achieve with the stairs. $930 worth of 16-inch trim and stair parts is a stressful half-hour drive. One commenter says, great job on everything. But damn, that trim is almost dragging on the ground. Grover replies, the MDF was very droopy, but was bearing across 2 seats and the gate, and seemed alright and pretty stable. The warehouse crew assured us the wood wouldn't break, but was worried about our car. When we were unloading, I cut the plastic wrap holding the bundle together, and all the trim on the top came sliding out onto the ground. Was an oh shit moment when we both realized just how close we were to losing it all on the highway.
If I lose it all. Guys, one time I was driving on the highway, and there was a truck with like a dollhouse behind it, like one like you know, like the little toy houses that kids have on their front lawn that like they can get in, like a straight up plastic little house with a kitchen. And the back gate of this truck was open, and I just watched this dollhouse slide around on the truck bed, and I just switched lanes because I knew that fucking thing was gonna fall out. And lo and behold, like 2 minutes later, they hit a bump and it just like flew right out. Nobody was behind them because everybody could see what was gonna happen. And the truck did not stop. They did not know that they lost their fucking kid's house, bro.
Grover, you stress me. Somehow no one gets maimed in this story. But Grover, you stress me out. Says Grover. Grover wants 11-inch stair treads, but he can't find them in stock anywhere. They only have 11.25 inches and 11.5 inches. He ends up buying the 11.5-inch stairs at Home Depot, giving his stairs a half-inch nosing, which he thinks looks stupid and he doesn't like it, but he will get over it because that's the only thing they can find. Grover finds cutting and fitting the stair railing together to be extremely technically challenging, but our boy reports that he nails it. Honestly, the secret to attempting something like this is planning, and patience. Maybe. Okay, Grover, don't let it go to your head. He starts putting in the iron balusters and carpeting the living room floor. It takes
starting to look really
while
good
to figure out how exactly to secure the balusters. He says that it takes 2 different construction adhesives and epoxy, but they finally stay in place, and the house is now ready for its final building inspection. We're out of money again, but within a few $100 and a few weekends of the finishing line now. November 19th, 2007. Had the final inspection today. It failed. We want this window to be tempered glass, $200 to replace, but easy to change out. And they say the overhang on the roof is too short in the back and that we have to replace every shingle along the edge of the roof to make it another 1.5 inches longer. Ah, says Grover. What? If there was any moral to this story, it's that Grover is not a quitter. He fixes those things, he finishes the stairs, the house is done and decorated for Christmas of 2007, almost exactly 2 years after the renovation started. Is the stairs, is that on purpose?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't look at that. Don't worry about that. Honestly, this level of renovation in 2 years is kind of a fucking achievement for DIY. I'm kind of impressed and horrified.
Done painting. Yeah, it's a pattern. It goes all the way down. Well, is it done though? Will Groverhaus ever be done?
Just him and his wife, yeah.
Will Groverhaus ever leave our minds?
No.
December 22nd, 2007, Grover makes his final post on the thread. I've been telling people for a long time that the addition is almost done, but it's still missing the last vital component. And 3 days ago, it was completed. We were going to wait until February with the tax refund, but just couldn't wait, and are now the proud owners of a 65-inch 1080p DLT HD TV.
Yes!
2008!
TV!
And in true Grover style, he got it on sale. Living room complete with the addition of a 65-inch 1080p HD TV and surround sound.
Yeah!
You know, I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't scream finished house reveal. There's like not really any decor except for these like lonely looking speakers. There's some
Listen. The house is done. Now it's time for furniture.
shit on the floor in the corner. I don't think Grover's a very good photographer. It's probably not doing his house any favors. The pot lights look like they would shine directly into the
R/male living space, actually.
eyes of someone sitting on the couch. But you know what? Grover doesn't seem to have a problem with it. Oh man, are we enjoying it. Had our neighbors over for a big football party yesterday. The kids played in the old living room while the adults guzzled beer watching the game. And man, I'm glad I bought that TV when I did. Circuit City has already jacked the price back up. And that's it. That's it. That's Grover's last addition to the thread. He poofs into thin air. He's gone. The Groverhaus tale is completed. From an internet archaeology perspective, Groverhaus is frustrating. If I were able to make this video like in real time as it was happening, I imagine it would be a very different video. It would be structured more along the lines of like the Portland Polycule video or the Crokerverse videos, where part of the fun is watching the way that other people interact with it and start arguments with the OP. However, all criticism of Groverhaus has been completely eradicated from the original thread. The only comments that remain are the ones that are like absolutely worshipping Grover's godlike powers at renovation. It's actually quite comical to me how similar all of the comments that are left on that thread are. Every single one of them is just, Grover, you are the manliest man alive. Grover, you are a Greek god. Grover. Awesome, awesome thread and way cool house. Bravo, sir, bravo. As a future hopeful homeowner, you've inspired me to do it myself.
I will not be doing
Nice
this shit myself.
work, man. Now go pull the grill out of the shed and cook up a nice meal for your wife.
Yeah!
Great job, man. You'd certainly make a killing flipping houses. I've always had the utmost respect for people who do this kind of stuff themselves. My dad was always like that too. Why hire some guy? Just get down in the dirt yourself and do it. Grover, this addition
Get down in the dirt!
is awesome and makes me wish I knew how to use tools and do math and stuff. I can't even build a small table
Guys, I don't think Grover knows how to do math either.
thing without ruining it from the start and tossing it in the garbage a few weeks later anyway. You are a god, and that's not nearly enough to compliment you. These are the kinds of comments that Grover wants to hear. Grover wanted to shut down anyone who was hating on his creative construction methods. Naturally, this made people go even crazier for it. This is something that's referred to as the Streisand effect. Basically, when a public figure makes it obvious that they don't want people to know certain information, they make efforts to hide it, they're just gonna wind up making it like way more popular than it otherwise would have been. We know that whole something awful threads soon sprung up just for the purpose of making fun of Grover and his house. The problem is that all of those threads seem to have been deleted over the years too. And I'm not quite certain if Grover had a hand in that or if it is just a tendency of 20-year-old forum threads to no longer exist. And I'm mildly frustrated because I feel like I'm hitting this wall where it feels like the first decade of Groverhaus's existence as a meme is just wiped off the internet. There was a resurgence in interest in
Hi, Godly Play. Hello, hi, hello, hi. You've been following me for 2 years? I think so.
it thanks to a 2017 Twitter thread and a 2023 Reddit post that also got pretty popular. People
Do you think someone can like find this house and take a photo of it in modern day?
talking about it, but it feels like everything between those posts and 2006 when this happened is just, it's extremely murky, honestly. There are a few things that we do know about the response to Groverhaus. One is that the phrase, the joke load-bearing drywall became very linked with it. If someone is clowning on a bad renovation by calling it Groverhaus, another person will inevitably pop up and start making jokes about load-bearing drywall. Load-bearing drywall is not a feature of the original Groverhaus.
Oh, it's not?
You would have heard about that already in this video. The fact that that became a joke might originate from a misunderstanding of the way Grover explained the way that he had constructed some of the non-load-bearing walls. So people went, oh, haha, so the drywall is load-bearing. No, they weren't load-bearing walls. People were really jumping through some hoops to make fun of him at the time. And then this edit was made, which is, it's Osama bin Laden's complex. Listen, 2006 memes were different, but it's labeled like the Groverhaus.
Oh my God.
One of the labels on there says load-bearing drywall. This is like one of the only old memes, old Groverhaus edits that we have. The Groverhaus Tumblr tag actually made me like snort laugh multiple times. It was good.
It has a
This is,
Tumblr
like, the
tag?
only vintage Groverhaus meme that we have. The reason that this meme was made might have something to do with this other post of Grover's, pre-Groverhaus post, that people unearthed when they started making fun of him for Groverhaus, which was his weird and ultimately painfully inaccurate list of predictions about the Iraq War, which he was obviously qualified to make given his military expertise.
Clearly.
I don't know. I'm trying to connect the strings of this Groverhaus conspiracy board, but there's like 4 scraps of paper on it total. So this part of the video is short, sorry. So what else? What happened to the house? What happened to Grover? It's been like almost 20 years.
What
It's
happened?
been 19 years. Did we ever hear from them again? Well, not directly, no. But people have made a bit of a sport out of trying to find the house on Google Maps or in Flight Simulator. There are accounts of people spending just hours and hours going down every street in the general vicinity that Grover said he lived in, trying to find the house, and then eventually proudly posting their screenshots of it. Though thankfully so far everyone has been classy enough not to dox him. They're still spending 60 hours on Google Maps looking for this man's house, but it's still kind of weird, but you know, at least they didn't cross the line of telling people the address.
True.
One person local to the area reported driving by the house in 2021 and seeing Grover sitting out on his porch, even though it was 35 degrees and raining. That was only a few years ago, so I think it's pretty safe to say that the house still stands, and there's a good chance Grover still lives in it. He was hated, doubted, laughed at, but I dare say our hero Grover succeeded in the end.
He has the last laugh.
Couple failed inspections and a pea gravel debacle and becoming a meme in the long run. Groverhaus still lives, while most of the criticism of it seems to have been swallowed by the shifting sands of the internet in the past 20 years. Maybe Grover's still guzzling beer with his HD TV, living his best life. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching this video, my friends.
Thank you.
I will see you in another one very soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for teaching me about Groverhaus. Listen, this wasn't even that bad. Honestly, this was more of an inspiration. You can do it too. The Great Dismal Swamp. Money keeps running out and the date's spiraling towards the housing collapse. Yeah. Love me wife, build me house, guzzled me beer with the neighbors watching football. Simple. He finished right before. This man has crazy luck. The audacity is delightful. Also, never do this. Happy 20 years of Groverhaus, baby. He did get $150,000 worth of loans, but hey, you know what? It only took him 2 years. Do you think he's ever paid it off? Maybe that's why he still lives there, because he can't afford to move. That's why he still lives there.